はい。それでは、始めさせていただきますね。それでは、第4回のですね、FTA 戦略的活用研究会、大阪会場を開始します。大阪と書いておりますが、東京と、も参加可能となってますので、本日予定は60名ぐらいのご参加を予定しております。Now, we will start the FTA strategy workshop, Osaka branch. And today, I'm honored to have the wonderful presentation from Indonesia. And thanks to the Indonesian Trade Promotion Center, the director, Diki Farabi-san, and Fresha Sahilzaki Tasha-san, and Kawahara-san. Please, すみません。マイクはオフにしてください。お願いします。そしてですね、小池産業の皆さんですね、特に、寺澤さん大変お世話になりまして、そんなことからですね、小池産業のですね、ビルの中にですね、インドネシアのですね、貿易振興センターさんがいらっしゃってですね、そこから今回のお話になりました。Because the Indonesian Trade Promotion Center is a tenant of the Koike Sangyo building, so this is a very, very, let's say, coincident rendezvous. And we have we discussed a little bit about this seminar, and this is, I'm very happy to realize that. So, title is the Indonesia and the Free Trade Agreement. We Japanese thinks that Indonesia is one of the big market in the world, and we have the two types of the FTA, and that means the Indonesia and Japan Free Trade Agreement, as well as the ASEP, ASEAN Japan ACP, and we are waiting for the RCEP. So. And we are very happy to have the presentation from the Indonesian side. Ms. Ni Made-san, Director of the Bilateral Trade Negotiations, Ministry of Trade. 今回、インドネシアの方からは、経済産業省に当たると思うんですが、経済産業省のですね、バイラテラルトレードネゴシエーションですから、要するに FTA 交渉のですね、を先頭を切って頑張って進められていらっしゃるマデさんの方からプレゼンテーションをしていただくことになっております。で、この後です、プレゼンテーションしていただきまして、質疑応答をさせていただきますので、私の出番はここまでということで、じゃあ、バトンの方ですね、マデさんの方に渡したいと思います。This is what I'd like to talk about, and I'd like to toss the button to Ms. Made-san. そう。どうします？ちょっと準備があります。I need some time to, one minute to prepare for the presentation.
Okay.
Halo Bu Direktur. Apa kabar Bu Direktur?
Selamat siang. Good afternoon, Arif Sang, and who else is there?
Yeah. Nice hair, Bu. Look new.
Thank you. Yeah, my new look. And good afternoon, Mr. siapa nih? Namanya Rif, siapa Rif? Moderatornya Rif.
Shima.
Shima-san, is it?
Good afternoon. I'm very happy to have you here.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me. It's an honor and pleasure, of course, to speak in front of the Japanese private sectors or the audience. I always happy if I can be of assistance and share, the policy, the latest development in Indonesia. Thank you for hosting this also together with our trade office in Japan.
Thank you. Thank you very much to you all.
Yes.
And I found the many photos of you in the Google. So you are the
where
very
did you get
expert.
from Google?
Just Google username,
Oh no!
and I
I
find
hope.
here your biography and etc. So
Oh no! I hope it says or tells good thing, not a bad one. The bad one needs to be hidden. Thank you, thank you.
いけますか?
Yeah,
じゃあ、
Padiki-san, how are you, Pak? Thank you, yeah. Thank you for inviting me.
If you want to start now, I will share presentation.
Yeah.
Yes.
消せないですよ。
Can you see the screen?
はい。
Okay. Silakan Ibu Made.
Okay, all right. Thank you once again. Good afternoon from Jakarta. Good afternoon also, right, in Japan. Not so much different, only 1 or 2 hours different. Again, I first of all would like to thank you from the trade office in Japan, yeah, in ITPC Osaka, and also trade attaché in Tokyo, and also together with, I believe, Logistic Incorporated, right? For today's, I don't know what you would call it, discussion, webinar, whatever you wish to call it, but I'm just pleased to be here. I always prioritize event like this if I got invitation to speak about trade agreement, the benefit of trade agreement for the business sectors. I always make myself available. Oh yeah, I know here is Mr. Masaka Zuzima, right, Sang? Yeah, good to see you. Good to see you. Greetings from Jakarta. I hope all of you in good health. Because we are in the midst of the pandemic, I think we need to be cautious and also keep ourselves active and busy. But at the same time, we know the protocols, right? The health protocol. But at the same time, we need also to do our daily life, go on with our daily life. So event like this through virtual, it's very good thing to do. And today I was tasked or given the assignment to talk about Indonesia and free trade agreement. So feel free to ask me about anything regarding free trade agreement. Although my purview, my responsibility, my focus is on bilateral, yeah, Mr. Sima, Arif Sang, and also Diki Sang, and also the participant. But if I can answer regarding regional, multilateral, I'll try my best. Okay, let's start now because time is moving fast usually, and there are a lot of topics needs to be discussed. Can somebody help me with the presentation? I and my team made this presentation for you to share later on. Can we go to the first one? I will start my presentation by talking about where we are, right? I think as private sector, especially logistic, this is something of a challenge at the moment, right? What is the backdrop of our state of the economy, global economy rather, or national economy at the moment? Number one, in the mind of everybody, the government official as the regulator or business is about this pandemic. This pandemic already been almost year 2 now, 1.5 years. So this really a disruption, a challenge actually, But I know private sector would like to see challenge as opportunities, right? There are always opportunities there. There's always something that we can turn crisis into opportunity. So we can have a discussion on that. But the fact is, it is there. Because of the pandemic, the mobility is limited. Business got affected, but it depends which business, right? Some business are, especially digital, are skyrocketing or picking up, but others are not. You know, for example, where I'm from Bali, you see, which rely on tourism, hospitality. It's really badly hit. So this is something that happening all over the world, not only in Indonesia, in Bali, but all over. I believe in Japan as well, because you are hosting Olympic now. This is also a challenge, right? And then on top of that, we are still in the midst of trade friction between major economies in the world, which unfortunately we cannot detach from, getting into it, like it or not. If you think, okay, it's not us, it's not Indonesia, but we got affected. When US and China, for example, has trade friction, it affected us, affected Japan, affected Indonesia. This is a real challenge, yeah? And to the point that it's disrupt the trade, investment, and so forth and so on. And then because of that, we see this is not, I don't make it up, but based on the data, I use UNTAD data and WTO data, a lot of protectionism and populism come, and with that, a lot of introduction of non-tariff measures, non-tariff barriers comes. And it's for the past 5 years, actually, it's more and more, unfortunately. And this is a real problem for many businesses. Of course, you want ease of doing business, right? Your business is flow, there is no problem, there's certainty, tariff is low, facilitation, and so on and so on. But unfortunately, the reality, political sometimes or economic, there is this protectionism. There is an issue on trade, what is it called? Trade defense, for example, happen here and there. And then also important that I put here and on the list of global trade challenges is the multilateral trading system, which for sometimes was at stall, right? The negotiation was not moving forward. There are a lot of issues, including that's why there are a lot of now aspiration from member states, member of WTO, to reform WTO, but it's not there yet. It's not done yet. It's ongoing. So all of this make our trade quite challenging, So now the question is, what to do about it? How do we come out and overcome these challenges into opportunity? What can we do between Japan and Indonesia? We have trade agreement already, be in bilaterally, with Indonesia, Japan, EPA, or regionally, ASEAN, Japan, and also RCEP now. So in terms of agreement, we have very good setup, right? A good setup in a way that we are part of the global supply chains. So next, please. And before that, I just want to flag a little bit about Indonesia trade outlook. There are a lot of projection by many international organization or even media, like Bloomberg. Here, if you see our economy as other emerging economy or G20 even, including Japan, it's quite in the situation whereby we expect it to slow down, of course, but we expect this year, of course, depending how well the world is overcoming the pandemic or manage the pandemic, we project this year we will see the sign of what is it called? Better hope better prospect. But again, in terms of what is it called, growth, we saw from ADB, for example, from 5.3% last year. In December, it's down to 4.5%. Bloomberg prediction as well, OECD as well. But more or less, the range is from 4 to 5.5% even. Meaning, we, Indonesia, I mean, is blessed with domestic market. We have 200 and almost 270 million. This alone is a power, you know, is our positive impetus, you know, to keep our economic moving, you know. The domestic consumption alone, despite export, of course, or external factor, we can manage 3 to 4%. This is something that we need to manage, and this is something the international community, especially business, investor, and business, to need to look to have a look at Indonesia. So in terms of trade alone, if you see quite a good, I would say, a good news on our front in terms of export or trade, because at the moment we are safe, I would say, by the price of commodities. The commodity price is quite high. Indonesia produce a lot of commodities, and then in terms of value, we have trade surplus, non oil and gas, but oil and gas we import more than we export. So at least in terms of macro, we have domestic, the domestic consumer, and then also the export is doing rather well at the moment. Of course, we cannot be complacent. Yeah, a lot of things could happen, especially with the pandemic now. Next, please. I just want to flag again in terms of Indonesia's growth export to the world. This is more or less the map or the picture. We or Indonesia still rely on our traditional market. Yeah, East Asia is our biggest market, almost 45% actually from Asia. We trade with Asia. Of course, Japan is one of them. China, Korea, Taiwan, and then South Asia also good, and North America. But in terms of our growth, yeah, all positive is Asia, Eastern Europe, Western Europe, North America, Oceania, no surprise, Eastern Africa. But ASEAN, we have year-on-year minus, you know, 9%, almost 9.7%. With South America also 6% minus, Southern Africa also minus, meaning a lot of homework still for us, a lot of factors happening there. We'd like to think that it's because the demand is low, but this is another discussion that we have. But total of our trade export last year, trade last year is $282.3 billion US dollars. Export almost 155 billion. Import 127.3 billion, with our surplus $27.6 billion. So we of course we're happy, but we need to push further. Next, please. So this is why our president, our government, for the past 5 years, put our policy, international trade policy, into global market or international market. We concluded a lot of trade agreements. We are doing at the moment a lot of negotiations, and we are planning also to do more negotiation in the future, especially to the new market, what we call untapped market or traditional market. So Of course, this is not specific or typical Indonesia. If we see the trend in the world also, there are more and more now trade agreements, you know, for the past since, what I see, 10 years, yeah, for the past 10 years, we see there are a lot of, the graph is going up, and currently there are 339 trade agreements. So this is, I think, an opportunity, of course, for business, but also a challenge. How do you make sure that there is, we are not in spaghetti ball situation, right, in terms of rules of origin, for example. But at the same time, actually, this make it easier. Whichever best for you, you use that, right? So next, please. Now, why are we doing negotiation or trade negotiations? Yeah, for Indonesia at least, I think this is also not unique for Indonesia. Tariff still matters. When you do negotiate, first thing you check is what is the tariff of your trading partners? Is it high? Is it moderate? Is it low, and so on and so forth? And when you see here is what we see from the left in traditional market, we see the USA have rather, I would say, low tariff still. Total tariff is 3.3, right? European Union average tariff is 1.5, and however, agriculture is still high. For China as well, agriculture is high, 13.9%, and for Japan, your average is quite low, 4.3, or rather low, but agriculture is high, and then non-agriculture is very low. It shows that you rely a lot, of course, your economy, the backbone of economy is on industry. But on the left side, non-traditional market, we see a lot of high tariff, and this is why actually our government is focusing on the non-traditional market to make sure that we can open the market. Our market access is open, so we can utilize through trade agreement. For example, we are currently negotiating with Pakistan, and this is the structure of tariff they have. With Sri Lanka as well, we are doing study at the moment, hoping for negotiation in the future. Bangladesh, we almost finished. Just one more step. Hopefully, we can conclude it this year. Morocco, we are going to enter negotiation. Their tariff is quite high, average 11.4 with 27.6 in terms of agriculture. Nigeria, we are interested in negotiating, but they are part of ECOWAS, so we are still working on it. Mozambique, we concluded already. We are waiting for the implementation, the entry into force, and I hope with the trade agenda of Indonesia, Japan, Japanese stakeholders, Japanese business can also take advantage of what Indonesia is doing or having at the moment. This is just to show that we do few tariff is one of the element before we are entering negotiations. Next, please. Here, just to show to you the agenda, Indonesia's trade negotiation agenda, quite busy actually. This is not only bilateral, but also regional. We already concluded or even implemented around 23 trade agreements, yeah. Of course, some of them are comprehensive trade agreements, some of them are partial in a way that, like ASEAN, for example, it's steps, right? There's a trade, including trade facilitation agreement, for example, RCEP, for example, and the latest one that we concluded was Indonesia-Korea. So 23 trade agreements that we concluded / implemented, and we are currently negotiating around 14 trade agreements currently, yeah? Range from the European Union. This is the tough one, I must say. We are going to meet in 2 weeks' time for round 11. Yeah, Indonesia, European Union, CEPA, and then Turkey, CEPA, Pakistan. We are improve, yeah, from PTA to FTA now. With Bangladesh, as I said, almost done. Tunisia, almost done. Iran, in the middle of a negotiation. Mauritius, we just started one round. Morocco, we are studying. We will already launched. We are waiting for the first round. UAE, we are hopefully going to launch our first round next month, hopefully. And then ASEAN, of course, including Indonesia, and then Indonesia, Chile, SEPA for trade and services. These are the agenda, the trade agenda that we have. I think maybe I thought important for you to know, so you can see and plan your business, to take advantage of trade agreements that Indonesia have. Next is just to show another one, 21 trade negotiation that we are exploring at the moment. We don't start it yet, but we are exploring it. And a lot of them are non-traditional. For a long time, we didn't have that trade agreement with them, but hopefully soon we can launch. Yeah, ranging mostly are from Africa, from SACU, ECOWAS, East Africa Community, and so on and so forth, including with Ukraine, for example. Yeah. Okay. Let's move now. For this, I think it's the same. Yeah, it's just to show that when it's concluded, it's most procedural, I think. But it's good to know that we have 8 concluded. Actually 7, but one is a unilateral. Okay, let's now talk one by one to highlight a few important trade agreement that we have. Start from Japan, of course, since we talk with the Japanese stakeholders. The coverage, in terms of coverage, I don't think this is something new for you. I think you are quite familiar. You already, I think, utilize this agreement. It was signed in 2007, and implemented in 2008. But we already review. We concluded the review. Is already there. And the coverage, as I say, because it's a comprehensive one. Anything that not everything, but most anything that we think is important for us, we are negotiating it. The coverage from goods, services, goods including group of origin, of course, MNP, investment, cooperation, energy, IP, government procurement, improvement of business environment. So in terms of commitment, I think this is not new as well. And I think the coverage for elimination, around 82% of Japanese tariff lines were eliminated, and around 89% of Indonesian tariff lines were eliminated as well this year, right? And then in terms of services, Japan opened 12 services sector, including travels, transportation, communication, construction, finance, computer and information. In terms of investment, to facilitate investment, actually, we eliminate tariff for a few tariff lines that otherwise it's sensitive. But for Japan, we eliminated it to support the investment, automotive especially, and electronics. We through USDFS, which I believe you're also quite familiar with it. And what important in this agreement, which I like to highlight, is the economic cooperation. We don't have this economic cooperation with many trading partners, but with Japan, we feel like, given the close cooperation and the history of our country, we agree to have economic cooperation, and quite good one. And we like to use it as a model or template with other trading partners as well. And what is it is to build the capacity of Indonesian industry so that Japan also can benefit from it. I think if Indonesian SMEs, Indonesian industry is strong, I believe Japanese industry can also take benefit of it. So I believe that this is a win-win situation. We collaborate, and this is the essence of economic cooperation. And we were quite happy with the we did review. We did have a review of our agreement. We're quite happy, and there are a lot of utilization rate is quite high, although Japan is higher than Indonesia in terms of utilize the Indonesia-Japan EPA. And as this is the first bilateral that we have, it's a quite a good learning process curve for Indonesia. At the moment, I hope you support us, you support the government. We are finalizing our protocol now to amend Indonesia-Japan EPA. And I know and I hear you, a lot of private sector came to me saying like, when are we going to conclude or implement the protocol? Because it's very important. There are a lot of good commitment that we both agreed upon, and with your support, hopefully we can implement it very soon. Okay, a little bit, next please, a little bit on Pakistan. I'll be quick because I don't know how much you're interested in this, but I thought this is important for you to know that Indonesia did have an agreement with Pakistan in the form of PTA, around 279 tariff lines that Indonesia eliminated for Pakistan, and Pakistan eliminated 320 tariff lines. And then after entry into force in 2018, our export to Pakistan is, I would say, skyrocketing but it's mainly because of palm oil. Pakistan needs the palm oil from Indonesia for their domestic industry, but we'd like also to export other industrial goods, including automotive, chemical, and so on and so forth. Okay, and then I'm afraid my my computer. Okay.
ちょっとスタックしましたかね。
ちょっとパソコンが心配っておっしゃってた。
そうですね。ちょっとお待ちください。この場を借りてですけど、今日の資料は、ちょっとまたメールでお送りしますので、お手元には届けられるようにいたしますので、よろしくお願いします。ネットの宿命といえば宿命ですよね、これ。入ってこられましたね。はい。マデスさん、OK です。OK。
Apology. Okay.
何かあったのかな。さっき声ありましたよね。はい。これはちょっと違う人です。
Hello. Sorry about this problem. I forgot to bring my charger. So my computer suddenly, gone off. So I use my my mobile phone at the moment. Maybe the screen is a bit small, but I hope you can see me. Can you? Is it okay? Can you see me?
I don't think that the video is working. So
Oh,
we
really?
cannot. So.
Oh, okay. I can see you actually. The video not working. Okay, hold on a second. Can you see me now or no?
Yes.
Okay, good. All right. Okay, let's continue. Sorry. I'll get my charger. It's coming very soon. We'll use my PC later on. Okay. In terms of Pakistan, and this is what happened. And at the moment, we are negotiating for the whole range of tariff lines. So we just had our second round. Okay, next is Chile. Chile, Indonesia had SIPA with them, but we do it step by step. First is trade in goods, cover all of our tariff lines. But soon, in next month, we are going to launch our trade and services with Chile. In terms of elimination of tariff, around 89.6 tariff lines that Chile eliminated for Indonesia, and 86 from Indonesia. We also have a cooperation on trade and investment promotion. And one thing about Chile that I'd like to highlight is this is the first trade agreement that Indonesia have with Latin America. Why is it important? Because we'd like to use Chile as our hub. After the implementation in 2019, ladies and gentlemen, actually we see a lot of utilization, in terms of document that we use, Indonesian private sector use, and then there are also now they're thinking about automotive. Also, they would like to import from Indonesia, and this is something that I think Japan and Indonesia can work together. We have the capacity. And we have the market in Chile that already eliminated their tariff. So perhaps Japan and Indonesia private sector can work together to take advantage of the market in Chile. The next one, next please. Australia. Okay, I think Japanese private sector would be interested in our Australia-Indonesia deal because again the coverage is comprehensive. Is even more, anything you want or under the sun, I would say, is being committed under this. In terms of trade in goods, as you know, Australia eliminated all its tariff lines. We have a 0%. The tariff is 0% to enter Australia, but this also because of ASEAN Australia FTA. Indonesia eliminated around 94.5% its tariff line to Australia. We have a rather robust trade in services. For your information, Indonesia opened 128 subsectors. So this is, I think, more than what we have with Japan. So why we want to do this? Because I think our economy, in terms of services economy, is complementary, and we can use that. The need for Indonesia, the aspiration is to improve our human resources using Australia as a partner for that. In terms of investment, there are a lot of investment sectors that we previously didn't open with other economy that we open for Australia. For example, just to name a few, education, for example, education sector, and also health sector. And economic cooperation also quite robust. We have a lot of scheme, work and holiday visa scheme, skills development exchange pilot project, workplace-based training visa arrangement. For example, Australian business, that have investment in Indonesia, we facilitate the traffic of their human resources from the two. And we use, we take Kadin, our Chamber of Commerce, as facilitator in this regard, because they are the one that knows who are the investor. If Indonesian labor wants to work in Australian companies, for example, they also, it is possible under this arrangement. Another thing is Australia will open what they call it VET, Vocational Educational Training Schools, right? So there are nine sectors that they're interested in. Once they graduated, they will have 6-month training in Australia. Yeah, if they got job, they can continue. If not, they can come back. So we believe that scheme will be helpful and useful for the Indonesian labor to increase our capacity. So this is something that we have with Australia, and so maybe with Japan, in connection with Japan, one thing, Australia-Indonesia CEPA is the only agreement that have the commitment in terms of electric cars, hybrid and electric. We, Indonesia, get the best deal that Indonesia ever given to any country. So if Japan and Indonesia can work together to maximize and utilize the market, the hybrid or electric cars market in Australia, and this is the time. Of course, we don't have yet being built in Indonesia. This is why I think you need to look at Indonesia's sectors, industry, to take advantage of Australia. Next, please. This is FTA now. FTA, which comprises of 4 countries, Swiss, Norway, Liechtenstein, and Iceland. We concluded already. It's already being ratified. We just need to exchange the notification before entry into force, hopefully late this year, second half of this year. And we have also quite comprehensive trade in goods, trade and services, investment, economic cooperation as well, and including on services about the independent professional internship. We are going to have with Switzerland. And another thing is cooperation on fishery sector, because Norway is quite advanced in the fishery sector, especially the aquaculture. We have the economic cooperation with them, and hopefully with that cooperation, we can enter Japan market as well. Good quality, safe, and sustainable fisheries that Japan consumer can take benefit of as well. I'd like to think that way. Lastly, is it last? About Indonesia and Mozambique. Yeah, why I'd like to highlight this. This is the first Indonesian trade agreement that we have with country in African continent. I don't know about Japan. I forgot to dig out a little bit. Maybe you can advise me on that, whether Japan has agreement with Africa. But we like this agreement because it's a PTA. It's a small one, so it was quick, and it's quick, and also we identify which are the product that we think can enter Mozambique market, and Mozambique can increase their export to Indonesia. Yeah, there are 242 tariff lines that Indonesia eliminated for Mozambique, and for Mozambique there are 217 tariff lines. Our focus is on, of course, non-agriculture. Agriculture is palm oil, of course, and some fisheries, and also non-agriculture goods. Yeah, that Mozambique is because they have high tariff. With this agreement, the tariff is being eliminated, so that means it's opening our market to them. And again, in terms of automotive, they also eliminated their tariff, duty free for us. This is something that we would like to also export to Mozambique, using Japanese technology, of course. Lastly, the last agreement that we have is with Korea, right? With Korea, we just concluded and signed late December last year. It's now being in the process, in the midst of the process for ratification with our parliament. In terms of, but again, this is on top of what we have with Korea, ASEAN Korea. So on top of it, we have bilateral with Korea to improve the ambition, to increase the level of ambition. Now Indonesia, the commitment is Indonesia eliminated around 92% of our tariff line. Korea eliminated around 95.54 tariff lines. In services, both committed to open more than 100 subsectors with foreign equity participation, meaning, you know, investment, foreign investment, up to 100%. Why? Because Indonesian investment regime is very open now, less and less on the negative list, more and more to open up, you know, especially with our new law. So we are able to committed under this agreement. That's on investment and economic cooperation. Again, we have a lot of economic cooperation program coming up on the pipeline, and hopefully this will help Indonesian Indonesian industry as well. Okay, that's Korea. So I think since this is of interest of Japanese private sector, let me also to speak about RCEP, although I'm not the negotiator for RCEP, but I must know a little bit about this since Japan and Indonesia are the parties in it. So I think this is not a new thing. Everyone knows how great the deal is. This is a mega regional. Indonesia is the proponent, the mother birth of this agreement. What we're happy about is regarding the trade in goods tariff elimination is range from 89% to 92%, so 92% tariff liberalization. I understand a lot of criticism, or not criticism, perhaps comment from especially non-parties, trading partners saying, oh, it's not too liberal, it's not too ambitious, it's not too gold standard, you know, but we don't think so. I think this agreement is great in nature. What important in this agreement is, I think, the trade facilitation, the ROO itself, something that I think every parties of the RCEP will look forward to implement this, because this will make it easier for business and also for investment. On services, I think the wide range of services as well, including financial, telecommunication, professional services, and MNP. On investment, I understand we have a good investment regime in the region, and other rules as well, including what important is on e-commerce, right? E-commerce, competition, intellectual property, and so on and so forth. And I think, again, as I said, what we'd like the takeaway from this agreement is we give more certainty and uniformity. I think that's the word that would like to underline on RCEP, yeah, of trade rules across member. This is why I think it's very important for us to be able to, one by one, each of the member states to ratify, and Indonesia also in the midst of ratification. So that's more or less what I'd like to share with you, where we are, Indonesian trade agenda, trade negotiation agenda. But to conclude, if I may, I just would like to say that access to new market is important, and number one element that we would like to see is the tariff, of course, but of course more than that is also non-tariff. I mean, by having a trade agreement, we would like to have an opportunity for us to discuss and to commit ourselves to make it easier to do business and investment. And secondly, I think I touch upon in few of the agreement that I mentioned. For Indonesia and Japan, I think I'd like you to see Indonesia as partner. We already have a few good agreements now in front of us, or already being implemented and on the pipeline. I would like Japanese private sector companies to put it as part of your strategy. How can you work with Indonesia to take advantage, not advantage, maybe to take benefit mutually, of course, so that you can also expand your business with our trading partner, with Indonesia's trading partners through Indonesian trade agreement. Secondly, simplification of paperwork. I think this is something that of interest of you as private sector, as traders, ability to clear goods more quickly and easily, or efficient. I think that's the word that you'd like to, or being facilitated. Third, facilitation of most procedures. I think there are a lot of questions that I see already asking about that. Lastly, technical support through agreed economic cooperation program. I don't want to, what is it called? Yeah, undermine or the economic cooperation. I believe economic cooperation program is an integral part of trade agreement, and this will help. You know, if you invest in the cooperation, one day in the future you will take benefit. You will take benefit of that cooperation. If your partner is strong, you will be strong. So we tend to think that way. So in all of trade agreement now, Indonesia proposed a chapter, a good chapter on on the economic cooperation. I think I should stop there. I look forward to have discussion with you. If I can't answer, I can come back to you again in the future. But I think this is more or less where we are coming from, or what is Indonesia free trade agreement agenda at the moment. I thank you, and I'd like to give the screen to you, moderator. Thank you so much. Arigatou gozaimashita.
Terima kasih. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for Nimade-san. I was very astonished that you have the tremendous number of the FTA waiting. So you should think about the future. So thank you very much for sharing the only single FTA. Maybe if I include the ASF, 2 FTAs, which has already concluded. But there are several questions. Maybe it's not the issue for the future, but the issue for this moment. I'll show you some questions from our side. Maybe it's too down to the ground issues, but just the question is categorized into the 2 types, I believe. And the one is the coming FTA is RCEP. First question is, may I speak in Japanese first, and English will follow?
Of course, absolutely. Please.
インドネシアの RCEP 批准予定及び進捗状況。The question is, please let us know about RCEP ratification status and the estimated schedule in Indonesia. I mean, there are several countries who has ended the domestic ratification. So we hope we'll have the RCEP coming in the next year. And but I think Indonesia is one of the key players. So let me know this kind of the status and schedule, if possible, of course.
Okay. Should I answer now or later? Now?
Please.
Okay. Thank you very much for the question. This is an important question to have. We have a lot of also questions from our trading partners. I understand that many trading partners wait for Indonesia to ratify this agreement. For Indonesia, ratification of RCEP is a matter of priority. Already, our presidents when he called our Minister of Trade and also the Chief Negotiator, Pak Iman Pambagio Sang, President said, please prioritize the ratification process. Based on our law, we need to consult the result of trade agreement, especially such kind of RCP, which is mega regional, and also there are a lot of market access commitment there to be consulted with our parliament. We did that. We meaning the government already submitted to our parliament the initiative for ratification, and now we are waiting for the what we call rapat kerja or working session with the parliament. I believe the session will be open sometimes in June. So they had a recess, and now it will be open. We hopefully the first meeting will be done very soon. However, we at the same time, parallelly, Indonesia also preparing all technical necessity for us for implementation. For example, the tariff transposition, and then also the implementation, the what is it called? No, not ROO. Apa namanya SKA itu? Surat keterangan origin. Apa namanya SKA in English? What do you call?
Certificate of origin.
Certificate of origin, which is, we prepare that, parallelly. But we hope Parliament and the government can more or less finalize or conclude the process late, maybe in the fall, so that the target set by member states, I think we have the target, right? January 1st, 2022. That's the target for all of us to be able to enter into force, right? Hopefully, finger crossed, Indonesia can fulfill that timeline. We have our own timeline, internal timeline, so that by January 22, we can implement it. So that's the hope. But just to say that in terms of political, the top political direction is very clear. This is a priority. So we are working internally. My colleague from ASEAN, I think they are also here. ASEAN team is working on it. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. And in terms of the ASEAN-Japan SEPA, that ACSF, Indonesia is the last comer. So please let us have you at the beginning.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Bye. I hope we can accelerate this one.
Thank you very much for informing us. And the second question is a bit complicated thing. Like インドネシアとして RCEP での自己申告制度の導入の意向はあるか。And it's hard to get the certificate of origin. And is there any prospect of early implementation of the RCEP Article 3.16 1C, declaration of origin by the exporter or producer, that it's like the system between Japan and Europe or some type of things. But RCEP is a bit reluctant to introduce this kind of things within 10 years. So Indonesia thinks something about this kind of things.
Okay, this is about declaration of origin, by exporter or importer. Okay. I believe, this is the input that I got from my colleague in RCEP team, that by the agreement, with the agreement, Indonesia is one of the countries that given 10 years timeline or period for the implementation of the declaration of origin by exporter or producer. Since we have not done this, this is something new. We have not done this in the past. This is something new. That's why we need this facing the transition period. at the moment, we are not able to implement declaration of origin by exporter or importer at entry into force, right? We cannot yet, yeah. Although, however, we will try our best, our utmost to prepare the regulation, because this is something, we don't have this regulation. We need to prepare it so that by the time we are given 10 years period for transition, we are ready, you know. So at least we are preparing it. But when, let's say, January 1st, 2022, everyone, you know, we will enter into force. I don't think, we are not in position yet to implement it. So that's the response from our side.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And the second question is a bit the operational issue about the verification of the origin from Indonesia. And I'd like to show the first fact that as for the number of the certificate origin issued by the Chamber of Commerce, first is the Thailand, second is the India, and the third is Indonesia. But as for the number of the verifications from Indonesia, ranks number one. That means we are a bit doubtful about the proof of origin maybe from the Indonesia. This is a basic fact. And the question is, is there any doubt about our origins because of the number of the verifications? Subtle issue, so it is very difficult to answer, but this is a basic question from our side.
Okay. Regarding this question, I don't know where the question is heading into, right? Are there some background or reason why there is increase of number of verification for origin from Japan? So that's the question. Well, the question is, I don't believe it is only for Japan, right? I think for the yeah, it's not only for Japan, but I think certificate of origin is something that under our agreement, and the verification is something that it is committed and regulated in the agreement, right? To make sure that all goods that come in or come out, export and import, is in accordance with the criteria of the origin. I think that's also very basic, right? To make sure that it is what it is, basically. So, so in terms of why it is increased, I don't believe it is by intention, you know. But the fact that it's because procedurally it is covered under the agreement. Secondly, we need to make sure that the safety, the origin, of the goods itself, it's being monitored and verified. I think there is no hidden agenda. There is no other than that technicalities, you know, I would say, you know. But I don't know if my colleague here from Custom would like to add, or from Foreign Trade Directorate would like to add. Ada yang mau nambah mengenai penjelasan saya tadi? Ada yang mau ditambah, or is that enough? Pak Firman, ya? Oh, okay, good. You are lucky, Shima-san, because we have somebody from Custom. So he can answer directly. This is good.
That's a wonderful group.
Wonderful, yes. And he is my partner, you know, that in the trade agreement. So he's an expert. Please, Pak Firman.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ibu Director, for the opportunity. So I think I have many questions from ends related to verification of free trade agreements. So I think to respond on the question, I would like to provide an explanation about the verification process by customs, by Indonesian customs. So basically, apart from the criteria just they mentioned before earlier, actually the basis of verification, I think in many custom administration, is based on risk management. So as you might understand that in risk management mechanism, there are many risk indicators to be fulfilled. For example, some of them country of origin, and then commodities, and also importers and exporters. So these indicators should be fulfilled accumulatively, not partially. So for example, I understand, for example, Japan is a low risk country. So if you look at the country of origin, should be very low risk. But of course, customs will see to other indicators. For example, importers itself. Importers is located in Indonesia. So I think everything should be verified thoroughly, deeper, from any aspect. For example, in Indonesia, many importers are not compliant with the procedures. We have to undermine, we have to explore more about their backgrounds. So that will cause also in the further verification. And then from the risk indicators, we can move to other criteria, for example, consignment criteria and then procedural criteria. Let's say origin criteria, let's say from Japan, yeah, it's okay. We can make sure that this originating from Japan, but we are not really sure if it is transported according to the rules, and then how the importers submit the certificate of origin or the custom declaration to customs offices. So we have to make sure everything is in accordance with the law and regulations. That's the reason why sometimes we have so many cases in the verification process. But I believe it's not only consigned from Japan, but also from other countries. And if I see the fact here on the monitor, the number of verification from Indonesia ranks first in Japan, I think because Indonesia has always informed the rejection to Japan, but I'm not really sure for other countries. Do other countries also notify Japan for the rejection or verification result? I'm not really sure about that. So that's the reason why maybe the number is looks very high. But well, I'm gonna give you a perspective. If you see the data, for example, I think the rate of the verification that leads to denial of not granting preferential tariff is only 0.00 something percent of total documents. So it's very tiny number. And I believe statistically it is insignificant. So you can ignore it. And I want to tell you something, that in Indonesia, that case is not the end of story. So for example, if an importer is not granted preferential tariff, and I think they still have their rights to bring the case to the tax court. And I'm going to tell you also, that it is most likely in the tax court, the importer will be granted back the preferential tariff because they have more time, they have more opportunity to collect all data, all information, all fact, all evidence, which might be not available at the time of importation. So they can provide everything to the court. And of course, the court will see all the documents, all the facts, and finally they will grant the importers back the preferential tariffs. So I think this is the whole story of verification in Indonesia. So don't worry about the verification, because I think it's not end of story. There will be another story, just like that. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I understand the Japan is not special, and it's the same as others. And so I mean, we do the in the normal procedures. There is no fear at all. Am I right?
Say it again.
I said Japan is not the special case. I mean, it's unusual. I mean, it's
no, non-discriminate. Yeah, we don't discriminate. Yeah,
discriminations and as far as we follow the rule of origin or something, then there's no problem at all, right? We focus on the numbers within Japan. The Indonesia is highlighted very much, but it's not like that for your perspective, right? Because you have many FTAs and you conduct the verification to every single country. So so we don't have to worry about that as far as we do the proper procedures, right?
Yes. Yeah, I think why my colleague Pak Firman said the reason why Indonesia appear to be having a lot of what is it called verification number is because we inform our trading partners, we inform Japan. So that's why I don't know what the case with other trading partners, like say you mentioned India or others. Do they verify? Do they notify every time you got rejection, for example, and so on and so forth? So I think that's the question that you don't need to answer now, but this is one of the reasons, perhaps, right, Pak Firman? So do not punish us for being disciplined or according to the rule, basically, you know. So yeah, thank you.
Thank you. And the next question is a bit related to this kind of verification, but this is the direct transport rule. And in this workshop, I think 3 years ago, that Indonesia declared that we should submit the every let's say direct transport rules. How can I say that? We don't touch anything. Certificates of carriage for carriage. What I'm saying that we cannot touch any products within the route of the shipment, and that is valid. That is valid when they change the ship. But Indonesia said even though we drop in the port, we should submit this kind of the document as well. So that's a big surprise to the Japanese companies who want to ship the Indonesia. So this said now Indonesia and Japan has settled with the document from carrier, saying that we don't touch any cargoes. But I think that will continue. That will continue from now on as well. I think that might be the question to the customs.
Yeah. Pak Firman, would you like to take that question up? I think you can continue, you know, because you probably can answer this technicality regarding, but you got the question right, Pak?
Yes,
okay.
Sure.
Please.
Thank you. Yes, I think one of the concern for Indonesian customs is direct consignment. I think it's stated clearly on the agreement, and of course, several times ago we have released the flexibility regulation to accept the vessel certificate as a means of proof instead of through bill of lading, for example. I think this is what we would like to emphasize to importers in Indonesia, that they should provide, what is it? We call it a comprehensive information or correct information on the transit point. For example, there is a consignment from Japan to Indonesia and then transit in some ports. So custom official has proper information on that, and of course we are open to receive any document, not only bill of lading, for example, but we can also accept like a vessel certificate or any other information provided by importers. So I think this is what is happening in Indonesia. We are not blaming Japanese side, because let's say from Japan is okay, everything is just fine. But when it comes to the importers located in Indonesia, of course they have to follow the regulation, right? So in the international trade, there are many actors here. Every actor should be good in doing the activities. So I think if customs officials get proper information, of course they will be fine. And also I would like to let you know that not every document rejected. I think customs has particular dot. Let's say, for example, new importers, and then the route is quite unusual, so they have to find out what is going on, why the road is quite different from the normal route. So I think that's the reason behind consignment document is still required by customs. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Question is, there are several questions about the verifications, and I think some part of that was answered by the former questions.
Yeah.
I think they have to say Japanese are very, very cautious about the verifications, because how can I say that? We are very, very timid about the, some doubts from the other countries. Right? So I think they have to say following the rule is very important, of course. And this is what to say. Last and the best, most primitive question, like ideal evidence for showing the origin for Indonesia. So I think that this also has answered by you. So I think today we have the tremendous number of the wonderful answers from your side regarding the RCEPs and the verifications. Anyway, thank you very much for your time. And I think there must be some questions from your side to Japan. No? We only ask a question to you, but is there any questions from?
Oh
because,
yeah, Pak Firman can ask questions.
In this session, there are the people from ministry, for foreign affairs, I believe, and Chamber of Commerce, who conduct the certificate origin. So, is there any questions? I don't know whether we can answer now, but I can bring the answer to bring back to you. Is there any questions?
Pak Firman, you can.
Yes, thank you, Bu Director. Yeah, I not really question. I think this is a suggestion from our experience. We have thousands of documents verified by customs or coming into customs office every year. And of course, there are some cases they are rejected. They are further verified. So I think even though the verification process or the rejection is not really significant, this is from my perspective. I think it's better if you can suggest importers or exporters or whoever's in the process of trade between Japan and Indonesia to provide information on transit points, whether it is on bill of lading or transport document or carriage document or any other document. It could be information from your side that the consignment, the goods are shipped to Indonesia, without further process in the transit point or anything. So customs official in Indonesia will be very satisfied with the result, and they can do clearance process quickly. Because as you understand, in Indonesia we are struggling with, in one side we are struggling with the clearance time, which is what is it? Clearance time means delay. I think, yeah, it's very important because we're concerned about the times consumed at the process of clearance. So, so we have to make decision quickly at the clearance process at customs office. So that's why we are appreciate if importers or exporters or any parties can provide information, very comprehensive information to customs. I think that's from us, Umare. Thank you.
Thank you very much. What? Can I asked the questions on this morning, so English, please. One question.
Okay.
Minasawa from Koike Sangyo, thanks for your important information for us. And I just want to know, you say the BL is enough to improve that direct shipments from Japan, but the government of Japan is declaring that we need the certificate of carriage issuing from the shipping line. That notice informed from Japan government to us. So if through BL, even if we have a transshipment in a third country, if the through BL is okay, we need, I don't know, we need the Japan government to change the information. So is it the through BL is okay for evidence of direct shipment? I think the question would be to the customer again.
Well, thank you. I think is that your question is about what is it? The information from Japan government to customs that the goods has no further process at the transit point. Is that correct?
Yeah, they inform us to send the certificate of carriage issued from the shipping line.
Yes, much appreciated. If your side, if Japan side can provide carriage certificate of or any other transport certificate or even a vessel certificate contains information on the transit point, that will be perfect. However, in the ground in customs office, actually there are some cases we are doing communication with the importers, but the importers were not able to provide the certificates. So I think that's the reason why in some cases customs official not granted the preferential tariffs. But again, it is not end of story. There will be another process that could be conducted by importers to bring the case to tax court. Thank you.
We'll check the chart. I think that's all for the questions from our side. Thank you very much for your very precious time and intuitive informations. And I think I'm very anxious about how to proceed this one. But I think this session ends successfully. Thanks to all of you, your colleagues here, and all of your teams. And thank you very much And unfortunately, we are under the coronavirus circumstances,
Yes.
but that will end soon. And if you come over to Japan, please drop to the this workshop because we have had the 56 sessions already, almost 6 years, 5 years. So I think that you are, I mean, our members always welcomes you, and I think the everyone gives you the warm welcome. So please stop by. I'd like to go to the Indonesia again anyway. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Have a wonderful weekend and have a wonderful negotiation with the
Thank you so much. We need that. We need good luck from you so we can conclude all the negotiation we have.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Masang and everyone. Pak Firman, terima kasih ya. Thank you so much.
Terima kasih.
Terima kasih. Terima kasih Diki Sang and Arif Sang ya. See you.
Arigato Ibu.
Arigato. Bye bye.
じゃあバイバイ。じゃあ終わりということでありがとうございました。皆さんもありがとうございました。ご参加ありがとうございました。今日のものは一応ビデオを撮れてると思いますんで、撮れてたらまたそれをアップするようにします。で、これは基本的には、一般に出してもいいって話なんですが、ちょっと名前が出てますので、ちょっとそこだけ加工します。参加するときにお名前が出てたりするので、そこは加工しますが、見れるようにします。また資料はお送りしますので、よろしくお願いします。でも今日は本当にリッキー、ファラビさん、皆さん、どうもいいチャンスをいただきありがとうございました。とても素晴らしい会でございました。ありがとうございました。それでは以上でございます。次回はですね、決まってましたよね。8月ですね。大阪は8月の、27ですかね。8月の27になっておりますので、よろしくお願いします。それではまた、東京は来週ありますので、よろしくお願いします。お会いしましょう。では失礼します。ありがとうございました。
ありがとうございました。
退出します。